Today we're going to talk about something that happened way back in the 90s.
Holy shit.
A story that somehow helped shape me as a founder and a builder. Something I learned a lot from. This is Raw Startup. I'm the founder of Vivino, the world's largest wine app and community, with over 50 million users all over the world. The story we're going to talk about today can feel like it's a bit far away from building a wine app or a wine community, but this is about fundamental philosophy when you're building a product. We're going to look at this fascinating story that spans over 25 years, and we can learn a lot from. We can learn about product market fit, product development, feature creep, speed, and when to release a product. Back in 1996, when I was in college, we played the most amazing game.
My name's Duke Nukem.
It was actually a remake of an early 2D game from 1991. Then, when Duke Nukem 3D was launched, we were blown away. We loved it with a passion.
Lucky son of a bitch.
It was the best 3D shooter ever. An amazing game with beautiful graphics and a really fun story. Duke was famous for saying the most outrageous things, and I think he actually came up with this phrase.
I'll rip your head off and shit down your neck.
Bizarre and fun for a college kid. We played it all the time, day and night back in college. The game was obviously a massive commercial success for the developer 3D Realms. Back in 1996, I didn't think much about the developer and the people behind the game. I just loved the game. I wanted to play the game, didn't care much about anything else. As I was done playing the game, I didn't hear much about Duke Nukem or 3D Realms. Many years would pass till I would hear the name Duke Nukem again. Not till 2009, 13 years later, I see an article in Wired. The article is written by Clive Thompson. So what was in this article? It was an article about Duke Nukem and the developer 3D Realms and how success killed Duke Nukem and the developer behind it. The article says, on May 6, 2009, it was all over. 12 years after they started development, 3D Realms gave up. The game was not finished and there was not gonna be a release. Wow, what a story. How could the people behind the best game ever work for 12 years and release nothing? This is not a team of losers. This is a team of experienced developers that previously had released the best game ever. A bunch of winners. How could such a team fail so miserably? Let's go all the way back and look at what happened. With the success of Duke Nukem 3D, the fans, including myself, were screaming for more. We wanted a sequel. We wanted more Duke Nukem.
Damn, I'm good.
The team behind Duke Nukem saw that and started building Duke Nukem Forever. Great name, and it was going to say a little bit more about the development of the game than they had planned. Some people started calling the game Duke Nukem Never. First, let's talk about the team. They basically invented the first-person shooter. Wolfenstein 3D, built by the same team, is widely considered the first FPS, the first first-person shooter ever built. They were also the first to start distributing games as shareware, a very early internet way of giving away half the game for free and then have the users pay for the full game. Yes, they invented a new way of distribution too. In the early days they were called Apogee, but it was changed to 3D Realms. I guess they realized everything was going to be 3D in the future. This is not some random team. This is a team as good as it gets. A world-class team led by the by then pretty experienced George Bussard. Duke Nukem 3D released in 1996. As if I haven't said enough, fantastic game. Loved the Duke character. Funny, it was tense, and even some skin was shown here and there.
Shake it, baby.
He was like a kitsch B-movie hero, and the game was a hit, as big as they come in the 90s. It also meant that the people behind got very rich. They made a lot of money off the game. After the massive hit of Duke Nukem 3D, the development started on Duke Nukem Forever in 1997, and they were planning to release in mid-1998. 1 year? Sure, that makes sense. And things were looking good. By 1998, they released the first trailer of Duke Nukem Forever. I remember it back then. We were very excited, and so were a lot of people. The hype was on. It was just very Duke, and we loved the Duke. Everyone got even more excited about Duke Nukem Forever now. Now this is when things start going sideways. Because another game came out, and it was called Unreal, and yes, it looked unreal. The Duke Nukem team is building their game on the Quake engine, and they're worried that it's not gonna do the job.
I ain't afraid of no Quake.
So what do? They switch engine to the new Unreal engine. The thing is, when you switch engine, you almost restart the project. Most of the work that's done is now lost. We're in 1998, 1 year in, but basically starting from scratch. There goes the first year. The story is that every time George Bussard saw something cool in another game, he had to have it for Duke Nukem. This can quickly become a problem as the game just gets bigger and bigger every time George Bussard sees a new game. Lesson number 1. Avoid feature creep. That's what happens here, feature creep. It means that you build a product and just keep adding features. The original scope and the goalpost constantly changes. You have to be incredibly disciplined when you build software products. If you open the door to feature creep, you will never ever be done.
What are you waiting for? Christmas?
If you look at the competition, be aware that you can't have everything, at least not in one release. Stay focused, release what you originally had planned. Don't wait till you have everything the competitor has. There are many problems with feature creep, but the biggest problem is you just don't get to release your product. Be very careful with feature creep, your product will never be perfect. That's just the way it is, so stop adding features and tweaking, get it released. By 1999, the Unreal Engine they were using made a big update, and they switched engine again. We are now 2 years in, and they've switched engine twice. The story goes on and they keep developing. By 2001, they released another trailer, and again, major success. Everyone loves the trailer. It looks stunning. People are blown away. This takes us to the next lesson. It looks like George Bussard and the team are happy with releasing these trailers.
I needed that.
They consider it a success that people are wowed by these trailers. They consider the trailers a real success when actually they're a problem. Lesson number 2. Align gratification with your company objectives. The problem is that the gratification isn't aligned with the company objectives. Releasing these trailers give the team confidence and gratification, but it does not move the project forward. It just isn't aligned with the overall objective of the company. The company doesn't make any money from trailers and no game is released. For example, I love releasing stuff. It's the best thing in the world. Everything about it is great. The anticipation up to the release, all the way till you look at the numbers and get feedback from users. The actual release of new features constantly is very often aligned with the company's objective. Try and align your gratification with your company's objectives. Don't celebrate that you know how to build a fantastic feature, celebrate that you released a fantastic feature. There is a big difference. The problem here is that George Bussard is that he and the team get gratification from releasing these trailers, but it's not aligned with the company objective. It's hard to make money from releasing trailers. The story goes on, we keep going, and there's even an optimistic statement from George Bussard. He says, if Duke Nukem isn't out by 2001, there's something very wrong. That obviously never happens. We are now 5 years in, and there's no date for release yet.
What a mess.
When they're asked about the release date, the answer from 3D Realms is, Duke Nukem is done when it's done. Great way to use a deadline. And in 2003, we have another reset, and they wanted to use a new physics engine. Yes, it sounds like George Bussard has seen a new toy.
Most interesting.
Time flies, and by 2006, there's another reboot of the project. They want to make sure the game is compatible with Xbox 360 and PlayStation 2. That will require a total restart. By now, the team has had enough. The employees are giving the best parts of their professional life to a game that looks like it's never gonna release. There is an exodus from Duke Nukem, and the team loses around half their employees.
Looks like trouble in paradise.
Lesson number 3. Keep your team happy. I know this is pretty basic, and you would think such an experienced leader wouldn't forget this, but let's remind ourselves, keep the team happy.
Get back to work, you slacker.
Imagine you're a game developer and you work for 9 years and have nothing to put on your resume. You are losing the best years of your life and have nothing to show for it. You can never forget that the team also has a career that they have to take care of. Put yourself in the shoes of the team. How does this affect their life and career? Somewhere along the way, George Bussard forgot about that. And we know, with no team, there's no company, there's no startup. Releasing stuff always motivates people. Sure, releasing bad stuff isn't great, but it's better than releasing nothing. It looks like the exodus was a shock to Bussard, and he goes on a hiring streak and also becomes more serious about getting the game done.
I'm gonna kick your ass.
By 2008, there's another trailer out, and even some in-game footage in 2008. Now that's a first. People get reasonably excited, and it looks like there's some progress. Maybe even hope that they're going to release a good game. In 2009, George Bussard even tweets that cutting is shipping and we begin the year with a vengeance and a chainsaw. A very Duke tweet coming from Bussard. Sounds like he's getting serious, killing the feature creep and releasing the game. It was like they were finally starting to get serious, and then it all falls apart. 3D Realms is starting to run out of money. It is very expensive to have a big team going that isn't releasing anything. Maybe there was a reason they were getting serious. They were running out of time and money. You can be arrogant and do whatever you want if you have lots of money. But there's also a risk that if you have unlimited resources, you end up using the resources, which means you never release anything. Lesson number 4. Too much time, money, and resources will kill a project. If you're accountable to nobody and have unlimited resources, you will most likely fail. You will just keep going and never release anything. That is really what happens here. And remember, this is an experienced, competent team. This can happen to anyone, even the best. You really want to fail fast, not slowly. A slow failure is the worst kind of failure. You spend forever and have nothing to show for it. It is much better to spend 2 years releasing a not so great game than spending 12 years and releasing nothing. Be careful with this. Make sure you have somebody you're accountable for. Create a sense of urgency and don't have unlimited resource and time. You will just use that unlimited time and resource. As 3D Realms run out of money, they try and get some money from their publisher Take-Two. That really doesn't go well as they start fighting right away and no money ever comes to save 3D Realms from the troubles they're in. And there's another very important lesson to be learned here. Lesson number 5. Build trust from whoever supports you. This has always been very important to me. Build the trust with the people that support you. In this case, it was a publisher, and for many startups, it's an investor. When you're on top, don't be arrogant, don't be a dick. There will always be a day when you're not on top and you will need help from people that support you. If you're a dick while you're on top, it's likely they will be a dick to you when you need them.
Payback time.
So the money has run out, and on May 8th, 2009, it is all over. The project was shut down and all team members were let go. After 12 years, it's all over and there was no product released. Lesson number 6. Get your product out fast. This is the primary lesson. You have to release your product as fast as you can. I'm aware that games are different. MVP can be really hard for some games. However, in most cases, get the product out there fast. Any time spent in a basement not showing your product to anybody is wasted. That's really our philosophy. Let me repeat that one more time. Any time spent without a real customer seeing the product is wasted, useless, a total waste of time. You only start learning when real customers are looking at your product. As a final twist, Duke Nukem does actually release in 2012, but it's made by a different team, and by then I'm way out of college, have 3 kids, and very little time to play computer games.
You're an inspiration for birth control.
That's how you waste 12 years of your life and have nothing to show for it.
Shit happens.
Don't ever think you're too good, too smart, or too rich to listen to the people around you. If you want more content like this, please consider pressing like and subscribe to make sure you see all the future videos. Thank you very much for watching Raw Startup. Now stop watching and go build something.